Hello everyone, Kevin here on Zerua635, and this is going to be a little video kind of talking about my interest in robots. Pretty much I'm going to also be telling you how this all began and why I ended up having all the ones I have as you see right now. So, my interest in robots started off when I was literally only 3 years old. The very first robot I owned, as far as I can literally remember, was this little fella. Techno Dinky Bot. This isn't the one I had when I was little, of course. I mean, the one I had completely jacked up. I mean, I lost a bad cover to mine and this bad cover too. But other than that, mine still had the little legs. But yeah, I remember getting my first little robot, which was this guy, for my birthday when I was around like 3 years old. I mean, the thing was pretty cool, really simple, annoying as far as my mom, according to my mom. One thing about this that makes it so memorable to her is that, sorry, is that I used to live in an apartment, of course, when I was a child. That's where I grew up from, like from birth all the way until like I can't really remember what exact year we moved out, but yeah. With this robot, she told me that I left this out in the living room one night, and my dad left to work. So I was, of course, we were both asleep, and next thing you know, she tells me that she hears something talking like in sort of weird little language. She turns on the lights from the room, and it turns out this little guy went from the living room of the apartment all the way to our bedroom. Yes, this thing somehow managed to go from the living room to our bedroom. Which is weird because the first day I got this guy, once I brought it with me to my dad's, I literally set it from the wall of the kitchen and left it by itself to see how far it would get. And it was actually only like 2 inches away from the wall by the time we got back from like we were out for like 3 or 4 hours, I think. And yeah, it was still in the same spot. So I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. How was that even possible? But yeah, definitely an interesting robot. I mean, it kind of shocked me that he was actually my first, because I always thought that my first robot was Millennium Robot, the red one. Oops, let's see, can I point out it? This guy. I thought he was my first robot, but no. After doing some calculations of the dates, like the years, it turned out that Dinky Bot was the first. Second robot was actually Millennium Robot, the red one. The way I got him is actually very unknown. My mom, according to my mom, she was the one who bought me the robot from a Hispanic store back in the day, and she bought it for me, which it was pretty cool. So I always thought it was my dad who bought me it, but it turned out to be my mom. So yeah, the robot was cool and all. He would spin, walk, the chest would open up, and like show some machine guns, removable gun, removable like axe or blade, whatever it is. I mean, it was a really cool robot for its time. I mean, it's also kind of ironic that my friend Ivan also grew up with this exact robot too. Of course, once we finally moved out, the red one was still with me at the time period, and along with it, he eventually broke down. Like he fell out from a shelf once, like this like blue Mickey Mouse shelf that he would put together. It was not the best idea at all to set him there. But anyways, he fell down from that, like it just from the bottom it popped off. He fell into a trash can. Actually, no, he just hit the floor. Actually, Tigger fell into a trash can, but he hit the floor. His leg popped off, and my dad actually put it back together, and he worked fine. Eventually, he did break down. His walking wasn't the best. His chest was barely open. And surprisingly, yes, he still had his weapons at that time period. Like, his weapons lasted him so long. His spinning wasn't the best. Afterwards, I never really used them too much. Me and my mom went to like a craft store, which is still open to this day. And I actually did buy, I got this guy next. Can I get through here? This guy right here. Oops, oops. The black Millennium Robot. he was my third robot at this time period, the black one. The black one was always my favorite because I remember when I first got him from the store, brought it home, took it out of the box, and oh my gosh, this thing was amazing. He worked just like new. I mean, yeah, he was brand new when I first got him. The one you currently see right now, him and the red Millennium, are not my original ones. Both of them, these are the replacements of the first ones I had, of course. But I mean, yeah, I absolutely loved the robot. I was so cool to have both again. Um, Eventually, he started malfunctioning like the red one. I took both of them apart just from the legs. Like I took their legs off to see what the heck was going on. Eventually, they just went to my closet. Was like it was like a pile of toys, like action figures that are stacked up on each other. And from there, they eventually got they eventually got thrown out because pieces got lost. Like the back leg axis got lost. Their legs were like everywhere in the closet, and it was just a torso. I really wish my mom would have at least, kept them for me, like, just took them out and, like, put them in some sort of box to, preserve them for the future, but no, she did not, which we'll get there in a bit. Another robot I did have at this time period was, I actually do have to get this one out, and I think this one should be in the shed. He's another childhood robot, actually. It's a mix of a bump and go and an RC robot. Kind of looks like the black and green robot, except it was just silver. Actually, it doesn't look nothing like it, but it had a gun, so a gun similar to his, which actually do have his gun in here. The robot itself was just messed up. That robot would just go forward and backwards. Eyes would light up, the gun would light up, the chest and jetpack would light up, and it would also blow smoke too, which was a really cool little feature. Eventually I parted that robot out, and I actually still have him to this day. Another robot I did end up getting was a Thunder Warrior. Me and my uncle both got Thunder Warriors when we were kids. The one that I currently have, the one that I had as a kid, was this one, the blue one. So that one, he lasted a good while, and from there, the torso stopped spinning. Like, he would just spin, but he would get stuck at the same time, so it was a bit of a mess. And my phone's overheating. Oh well. But yeah, eventually, the one my uncle had, he had this one as a kid, and he still has it to this day. Of course, I always loved the one that he had because it looked so cool, it looked more badass, but he would never let me play with it because he thought I would break it. From there, as the years went by, that blue Thunder Warrior robot eventually got put in the shed. Me and a few friends went in there to get some random toys to like check them out, and the blue one fell onto the floor, and one of them accidentally stepped on it, causing him to break into two halves. Of course, I was pissed, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and fixing him. And that year, I think it was like 2012, I think it was. I can't remember it. Either 2012 or 2011 was when I was attempting to fix him. That year, I went to California by myself. I had the torso block re-glued, and all I had to do was find some paperclip rods for the legs, so I could, put the wheels back in place so he could work. From there, once it came back, I was looking for the robot so I could continue, and he was gone. I asked my mom, "Hey, where's the robot I was fixing?" She told me she threw it away because she thought I wasn't going to continue with it, and I was so upset because he was not one of the last robots from my childhood, but he was one that was given to me by my own parents. The only thing I have left from him that's original is literally his sword. The sword you see there literally comes from the original Thunder Warrior that I had. I would have had the shield, but the shield ended up breaking in the original one, so the sword was the only thing that I have left of it, which is still amazing. It actually lights up now. I had to fix it up once, and it works perfectly now. From there, the next robot, if I remember correctly, getting was the infamous Power Destroyer. I can't remember what year it was, but I know it was Christmas. It was Christmas of some sort of year. I remember I stayed. Me and my family stayed at my grandparents' house, or should I say, my dad's parents. And of course, this is when I used to believe in Santa Claus. Of course, I was a little kid, okay. But I remember Christmas morning, I woke up and Santa had left me and my uncle both a Power Destroyer. This thing was the greatest toy I've ever seen at that time period. Like, I mean, so much chrome on it. Yeah, so much chrome, so much well details on it. I mean, it has a huge blaster, a metallic red shield, chrome head. I mean, the thing was awesome. I remember we both took them out. We put them in the kitchen, and they were both like all roaming all over the place, saying my mission is to destroy Power Destroyer, gun firing. Oh my god, this thing was just awesome. It lasted me a good amount of years. Until I remember my mom had a friend come over. She was giving them a hair. She was giving the mother like doing the mother's hair, and the kid ended up grabbing the robot from the room where I had him in, and I was going to take it from him. He pulled away, dropped it, and this entire arm right here from the elbow snapped. So the thing that was holding him was cables, which I was superior pissed off because this thing was a Christmas present. Pretty much, I think it was from my dad. We did was taped up the arm, so the arm was like good. Also, I'll continue talking about this. My memory is almost full, so part two will be coming up shortly.